Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Ross, your math teacher, Indian Hills High School. On my second cup of coffee, so I am absolutely through the ball right now. I am just so jittery, and it's awesome. So, first things first, April Fools. I hope you guys like my April Fools do now. I'm sure you laughed really hard or just shook your head again as why or what is wrong with me, but that's all right. Gotta have a little bit of fun, right? Okay. I haven't seen the sun in like 5 days, so that's definitely getting upsetting, but that's okay. All right. So, whoops. Today we are going to go back to kind of looking at some equations. Remember, one step, two step. Now we go into multi-step. And this is going to kind of, conclude our unit on solving equations as we continue with our algebra unit. We're going to keep on going on with this. So, I do want to talk about right now, just kind of going over how to solve some of these one-step equations. Now, you're looking at this. Remember, the goal is to get the variable by itself. So we want to get that p by itself. So in order to do that, let's look at this minus 4. What is the opposite of a minus 4? A plus 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. Let me just get rid of that little bracket I made. So we're going to add 4 to both sides to get p by itself. So this cancels out because negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So we have p equals 5 plus 4, which is 9. So p equals 9. And if I really wanted to, I could plug that 9 back in for p and get 9 minus 4, which equals 5. Sound good? All right, number 2. I have a plus 10 now. X plus 10 equals 12. Well, the first thing you got to ask yourself, okay, I want to get x by itself, so how do I get this 10 out of here? What's the opposite of a plus 10? And that would be a minus 10. So we subtract 10 to both sides, because when we're doing this, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So we get x equals 2, and that's our answer. And we can plug 2 back in for x and get 2 plus 10 is 12. 12 equals 12. We are hashtag good boy. All right, so number 3, 10x equals 20. Remember, this is multiplication going on right here, 10x. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 10 to get x all by itself. So x will equal 20 divided by 10, which equals 2. So that x equals 2. Sound good? The 10's cancel because 10 divided by 10 is 1. They go away, they're gone. And then we know 10 times 2 is 20, so that answer is good. All right, now we have division going on here. M divided by 2 equals 8. You need to ask yourself, okay, I want to get m by itself. What is the opposite of dividing by 2? That is multiplying both sides by 2. So these 2's will cancel. So then we have m equals 16, because 8 times 2 is 16. Sound good? And 16 divided by 2 will give us 8, so we know our m is good. So that was just a very quick review on one-step equations. Now we're going to go into two-step equations. So another review here. 4x minus 3 equals 5. Well, the goal is to keep this variable by itself. I want to get this variable by itself, but in order to do that, I need to get rid of this minus 3. What is the opposite of minus 3? That is, yes, a plus 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I have 4x, that cancels out, equals 8. Now, back to a one-step equation I just had before for number 3. 4x equals 8, that's multiplication. So I'm going to divide, because that is the opposite of multiplying by 4. Divide both sides by 4. Those cancel. X equals 2, because 8 divided by 4 is 2. So there we go. Number 6 now. 5x plus 2 equals 12. Now, let's see. Opposite of a plus 2 is a minus 2. So subtract 2 to both sides. And the reason I do that first is because, like we've been doing, we want to get the variable by itself. And we need to get rid of that plus 2 in order to do that. And that will cancel. So we have 5x equals 10. And same thing. That's multiplication. Opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide by 5 to both sides. So then we get x equals 2. And that would be our final answer there. Sound good? Alrighty, so that's a quick review on 1 and 2-step equations. Now, let's review on the distributive property. Remember, when we distribute the term on the outside to both terms. Always make these little lines here. It will help you tremendously. Please, please, please. So remember, when we distribute, we are multiplying. So we're going to do 3 times 2m. Bring your plus sign down. And then we have 3 times 2. So 3 times 2m is 6m. Don't forget the m. Bring your plus sign down. 3 times 2 is 6. And that's your final answer, because you can't combine 6m and 6. Because that 6 right here does not have an m. So that's your final answer. And I'll write that. Sound good? All right, we're rolling here. Number 8. Same thing, distributing. Let me get a different color. Mix it up. Distribute the term on the outside to all the terms on the inside. Draw those lines. So same thing. I have 2 times 3k. Bring your minus sign down. Don't forget that minus sign. And then you have minus 2 times 2. So 2 times 3k is 6k. Bring your minus sign down from right there. And then we have 2 times 2, which is 4. So my final answer here would be 6k minus 4. And that is my final answer. Sound good? Let me just draw these arrows just so you guys know what's going on. You see these notes. Boom. Alrighty. Sound good? Now we're getting to the bulk of the lesson. These 2 questions are going to be exactly how the classwork looks. So if you're having a little bit of trouble in the classwork, these steps I'm doing are the exact same steps you're going to do on your 2 classwork problems. That's all I'm giving you, are 2 classwork problems. So like I said, if you're confused in the classwork, these 2 problems will be exactly like the ones on the classwork, except there's just different numbers, obviously, but the same steps, the same procedures. Sound good? Alrighty, so remember, there's an equal sign now. I want to solve for x, but there's a lot going on here. I can't solve for x yet, so my first step, step 1, is going to be distribute the 2. Whoop. Distribute the 2. That's step 1. So let's do that. I'll do 2 times 2x and 2 times 4. So I have 2 times what? Sorry about it. So I have 2 times 2x. Bring my plus sign down. Plus 2 times 4. So 2 times 2x gives me 4x plus 8, right? 2 times 2x is 4x, plus 2 times 4 is 8. And that all equals, remember, 20. Now we're back to a 2-step equation. So all we did so far was we just distributed our 2. So now let me mix up these colors so you know what's going on here. So step 2 now. So step 2 we distributed. Step 2 is going to be subtract 8 to both sides. So let's do that because I want to get this x by itself. Subtract 8 to both sides. So now those will cancel. I'll have 4x equals 12. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 4 because I have a 1-step equation, because the opposite of multiplying by 4, is dividing by 4. So divide both sides by 4. So x will equal 3. Sound good? And I'll just fill in step 3 will be to divide both sides by 4. So really, all this is just an extra step we're adding now. So that's why it's multi-step equations, because it's more than 2 multi-steps. Sound good? So those are our 3 steps we did there. And those 3 steps are pretty much going to be the exact same for number 10 again. So step 1 for number 9 was distribute. Because there's too much going on here, we got to simplify this bad boy. So step 1, distribute. Distribute the 3. Because the 3 is the guy on the outside here, even though there's a bunch of 3's on the inside. But let's start with that. Distribute the 3. So I have 3 times 3x minus, don't forget that minus sign, 3 times 3, and that all equals 36. Boom. Alrighty. So we distributed. Now let's simplify that step, shall we? 3 times 3x. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. Bring down your x, so 9x. Bring this minus sign down. Then you have 3 times 3, which is also 9. And that all equals 36, because that's what's up here. This all equals 36. So that's not really changing. Sound good? So step 2, like we did before. There was a plus sign here, but in this case, now there's a minus sign. So we want to get the x by itself. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. Sound good? So let's do that. Plus 9, plus 9. So those cancel because negative 9 plus 9 is 0. So 9x equals, I think that is 45. Very good. Now, let's see. Step 3. We're going to divide by 9. Because we want to get x by itself. And the opposite of multiplying by 9 is to divide by 9. So let's divide both sides by 9. I'll just write 2 both sides. Sounds good. Alrighty. So, and then my final answer will be what? Let's see. 9s will cancel. X equals 5. Sound good? So take a look at these notes. These exact steps are the exact steps you're going to be doing on your classwork problem. So 9 and 10 will be the classwork problem. So look at those. Look at the steps, the exact same steps. And it's really nothing new. We're really, what algebra is applying previously learned information to new ideas. So that's all we're doing there. All right, peace out.